We are here, we're supposed to make an impact in changing people's lives. You speak of success stories. I want to ask you, the best documentary that you spoke about, how much did you support it with? How much was spent on it? And then compare it, if you have ever supported an international documentary or movie, how much was it that was put on that international documentary or movie? The reason for the amalgamation of funding institution, department, deputy minister, the rationale behind that, it was that you reduce the salaries, okay? Then you create a one-stop shop with a pool of funds divided in terms of the active participation of those sectors and provinces. Because you can't say you are allocating NFEF to do film, and when Limpopo doesn't have a film studio, doesn't have anyone who's doing film, that funding will be skewed. But when you have a one-stop shop of funding, you then say, how much does the film in South Africa occupy? If they're occupying 30%, you say, therefore, we are going to allocate 30% to the film industry. You occupy music, it occupies this, or performing arts, it occupies this, you allocate that percentage. So that we are able to see whether you are, it's not our responsibility to develop the provinces, but it is the responsibility of the funding institution to go to every individual in this country who has a legitimate need to create, to that creative talent, who wants to develop his movie wherever it is. We can't be biased. We have movies that are dominated by Zulu, English, and certain. We have other provinces that can't find expression in what we are. Our SABC is dominated by certain 3 or 4 languages. Yet we as the department, we have the language institution that we must say, we must fund and say, please make sure that all languages are equal before our people. So I don't want to educate people forever. I can't be talking like this as if I'm here to educate people. But I'm saying it is a concern when we see such things happening. The minister speaks about Mabahambi, which is very selective. He's opening up for colored people to occupy positions in this. And there's nothing wrong with him standing up for his people. But he needs to understand the context of post-1994. You can't do that at the expense of the very same people, others who were marginalized. You are doing exactly what apartheid did, providing privileges for one race against the other. It must be all-inclusive, which shouldn't reverse the gains of what we attained post-1994. So I'm saying this, I hope you are taking notes, Deputy Minister, to deal with these issues holistically, because honestly, it is quite disheartening, and I'm constantly using this term disheartening, because this is what we've been faced with for the past 30 years. We have movies from abroad that are shot here and DTI is giving them funding, but our own don't get funding. And we have American artists, actors who come and act in our movies, be Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela, when our own are sitting at home and saying, where are the opportunities? I'm done, Chairperson. Thank you for giving me the...
Yeah, I just want to say there was quite a number of questions within what Honorable Mtetwa has asked. And what is very evident is that the entity does not have any other way or means to pertaining to grants. And also the fact, if you read through these documents, the instability in the organization. If you can just take us through the impact it has. You know, for starters, the way you are presented in this particular meeting with such a large entourage, you know, it does not only speak of contempt, but it also speaks on a lot of problems that you have within your organization. So we would like to hear on the impact it have on the processes of this organization called NFVF.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. No, I think one obvious one would obviously be the staff morale, because if you do not have stability at the top, especially to provide leadership and guidance, it disrupts not only the operations but also the staff morale. And when we arrived, we landed in an institution where the staff morale was very low. That's an honest fact. And when we thought we had rushed to stabilize the process, unfortunately that CEO did not stay for the full duration of that contract. That would have been extended to him of 5 years. Forcing us then, Chair, to, as I said, to go back to the drawing boards. And thankfully that process has culminated in us interviewing next week Tuesday the 4 shortlisted candidates, and we are hopeful that we'll get our person from the 4, and prayerfully they would stay this time, so that the much needed staff morale and the stability to the institution is ensured. But also in terms of the preparations for Parliament, it helps when you've got a leader operationally that can assist with that. The other question that the honourable members asked is a question about who took accountability during the time when the CE wasn't there. I'm aware, Chair, that at no stage was there ever a vacuum in terms of leadership, even though you didn't have a permanent appointee at the level of the CEO. You always had acting CEs, either the HODs, there would be acting CEs, and they were accountable to the board. The one time that I'm aware of, and the DG is here, and Mr. Nsanyane can correct me, was when that board had been dissolved. I'm not sure what the accountability exercise was there, because it was before our time. But certainly during our time, there has never been a situation where there was really no acting CE, even on the interim. Like Honorable Nyambose was saying earlier, we've been through so many acting CEs in the intervening period, simply precisely because in terms of the PFMA, you cannot not have an acting CE to sign off on the things. Thank you, Chair.
Who's acting now?
Chair, the last secondment of Dr. Machaba came to the 3 months that she had been seconded to us, came to an end as of 2 days ago. We quickly had an urgent meeting as the board, and we have appointed an acting CE internally. But the reason why we have not, because the paperwork hasn't been done, obviously we're airborne when we did that meeting. But there is an acting CE who's going to start on Monday. We just need to finalize the paperwork and also to inform them and for them to accept whether or not they check that. But there would be no vacuum, Chair, between now and Monday. That is just only to, obviously, to allow us sufficient time. We think that September and October, because we are interviewing on the 9th, we think that that 2 months that we are proposing for the interim CE to act will be sufficient, especially if we get a person that doesn't have to serve the full calendar month notice where they currently are employed. But even if they were to be serving a notice in the normal course, we target the 1st of November as the start date for the new CE, hopefully a permanent one, and hopefully would stay for the duration. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Can you take us through the forensic investigation pertaining to the laptops, the investigation pertaining to flouting of human resources, maladministration, and zoom in for us with particular reference to the misuse of the credit card.
Chair, I'm going to allow Peter to speak first, and then if there's a need to chip in, I'll chip in. Please, CFO.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Daniels?
Sorry to do this, Chair, and I have a reason why I'm doing this. Can you be so kind, Chairperson, and courteous, and maybe just remind this entity that they are under oath before they respond to this question? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. I must also inform the entity that we have, I think, 2 cases where people lied under oath. And we are busy with it. And please take note, we had a previous case also on a MasterCard that has been misused. Please proceed, CFO.
Thank you very much, Chair.
I hope that allegations of misuse of MasterCard wasn't in the shebeen.
No, Chair, it wasn't in a shebeen. So that process, Chair, was subjected through a disciplinary process. And after it had commenced, the former acting CEO resigned. And during the resignation process, therefore, then the process had to be halted. And what then was left for us is then for our legal team to assess the situation, to obviously assess whether, is there any other thing that we need to do in terms of, the actual recovery of the financial losses that might have been incurred. So obviously that process unfolds, and I think what the AG had done, Honourable Chair and members, is that they had identified that there was about 4,500 rand that was flagged as money that was used through the credit card to procure alcohol beverages. And what we have now done was...
What's the difference of spending money on alcohol beverages or in a shebeen? The other thing I would like to ask the entity on behalf of the committee, may I request that you open a case at the police? Doesn't matter, he's gone. You have to open a case at the police. Can you give us the undertaking that you will do such?
Thank you, Chair. We will do so, obviously subject through to our legal process that's going to advise us. But I think what we have done, Chair, what we are dealing with, the AG recommended that we recover that money. And we had since withheld that 4,500 from that monies that were due to the former acting CEO. But obviously that will be subject to another process. But I think noted, Chair, that we will need to pursue that matter.
Thanks, CFO. The laptops?
The laptops also, Chair, the forensic...
The laptops has become the lap dogs.
Yeah, Chair. So our assessment is that there had been security breaches and then the mandate of managing security and cameras falls within the landlord. So, and then the fact that this break-in took place, it means that there has been security breaches. So after the incident, Chair, what we have done was to engage with the landlord, and there has been a significant improvement, Chair, in the security arrangement, including in the server, in terms of beefing up the access control. So we were fortunate that the laptops were insured, and we were able to then to claim back the 240,000 that was lost. However, it was recovered. And
Okay.
I think what we have done... Sorry, Chair.
Just another bite at the cherry, 2 bites. How much do you pay for rent?
It's 2.9 million per annum, Chair. And I think
That
what we are
gives you
currently...
how much a month?
It's about 250,000 or so.
A month. So it's
A month,
It's a
yes.
5-star office.
Yes, it's what is recommended.
With the problems that we have within NFVF, will you consider getting a place to pay less rent?
Yes, we are in that process, Chair. We have engaged the landlord in terms of reviewing that, but we have also done our own market analysis in terms of looking around the Houghton Parktown precinct in terms of getting paying a lesser amount. In fact, we have even engaged the department, Chair. We had a CFO forum yesterday where we had raised this matter. So we will engage DPW in terms of embarking on a process to identify a cheaper process. We are paying about 170 rand per square meter. So we want to chop it to about 120 or so that we can reduce our office bill, office rental.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think this can help that. Then also, NFVF, there are allegations of bullying, or rather, don't know what is the right word to choose, pertaining to applications. Someone said that they have sent 17 applications and it's been rejected without any reasons. Can you respond to that? Who can respond? I think National Justice would have expected one respond to an organization who's applying for money. You see, I'm reading, ne?
Yes, Chair. So unfortunately, we do get a number of incidents where applicants will complain about being successively unsuccessful. We actually had an example where we were taken to task by an applicant who was just exhausted by the number of times they'd been rejected, and we undertook a process to actually train them to improve the quality of their applications. So it's one thing to ask for the reasons or get the notes. It's another thing to be fully immersed in a process which will give you an opportunity to improve the quality of your application. So it depends on the interventions that we have at the time, but it is something that we do struggle with and try and have different means of improving on that outcome. It is unfortunate because we may get 1,000 applications and only have enough budget to fund 35 or 40 of those 1,000 that we get.
Thank you so much. I'm going to give Honorable Khabo, Honorable Potgieter, Honorable Molotsani, Honorable Marlon, and then Honorable Mataung, and then Honorable... We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. They were looking for you, were not here. TG?
Thank you, Chair. I was hoping you also